Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. And today I would like to present to you the only AI OFM course you need in 2025 going to 2026. These are all the marketing methods that me and my team have collected over years of automation. And we feel that these methods are something we found from teams that were willing to share with us, some really great guys that work with us. And we feel that we owe the community to give this information because it was shared with us and we would like to share it along. There are a lot of people that sell similar info and things of that sort, but I'm trying to create something that is of true value and we can actually focus on growing instead of becoming a niche that is stagnant. So, first of all, this video is going to help you get results like these. As you can see, we are doing over 40K a month, 37K on this one model alone. We do hybrid OFM and AI OFM. As you can see, these are some private PayPal payments we have received from our clients. This is some fan view results. And most importantly, join our Discord server where we have a lot of tools, a lot of content generation workflows, and a lot of marketing advice. Where if you have any questions relating to this course, you can actually get in touch with us. So, welcome to the AI OFM course, and this is the only course you will need to actually get to a good number in OnlyFans. So, over here, we're going to cover obviously model creation, we're going to cover marketing, and we're going to cover chatting. These are the three main pillars, so to say, of AI OFM. And I suggest take some time off, make sure you're not distracted while you're watching this, and you can take some notes as you're going forward because this is going to be full of value. So, starting with the baseline, as we know, every business has a model, has a product, sorry, to be sold, and in AIOFM, that product is the model. So, what we are going to first start with is kind of market research. Now, without proper market research, we are not going to know what content we should make for our model, specifically what content works. Because there's a difference between making high quality reels and making viral reels. So there are a lot of low quality models that don't have the best generation that make good good numbers on FanView. So why? That's because they have something that hits their target audience right, which helps them go viral. So in terms of the market research, we'll first want to consider our niche. Now, when you select a niche, it's very important to actually um, know what particular things you are good at or that you are interested in. Because, for example, if I talk about golf, which is something I don't know much about, I'm not going to sound good because I'm not going to know um, what exactly to say that would resonate with that audience. On the other hand, if I were to speak about something like technology, if I was like a gamer girl, or if I was into Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, these are things that I do know. So these are things that I will make, try to orient my model around so that the fan base that I get is not, um, I'm not going to be disrupting them by posting things that just don't resonate and I don't know the niche and trends of that niche. So write down a list of things that you like. Second, we want to do competition research. So since we have niche down, let's pick the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu niche. Um, since we have picked this Brazilian Jiu Jitsu model that we're going to create, I'm going to search for competition. And this can be done through Google or X or Threads or literally any platform that's out there. So you want to make a list of your competition. So even in this, you don't want to pick creators that are like 1 million followers because they are they have been there for a long time and their content tends to go viral regardless of however it's made. So you will want to find medium size to small size competition creators and see what's going viral for them. And that's where we get into the content research part. So after your niche, you'll know where's your competition, and after you know your competition, you'll know what content the audience of your niche is expecting. So in terms of content research, basically there is a simple strategy to follow, and that is to actually um, go on the competitor's page and see what's the average views. You may notice that your your competitor is getting around 50,000 views on average per post, but all of a sudden you see one post with a million. So those are the posts you want to look out for to recreate or to take inspiration from, because those will help you learn per se what is the content that your audience needs to go viral, right? So once you have all of that down, we are just going to go to the model creation part. Over here, there are like three ways to create a AI model. First, you can use, and I've rated them as to like how I think it is good. So the lowest category or like the most beginner way to do it is using a tool like um, Picasso and Higgsfield. Now, these are good if you just want to get started really fast, but the quality isn't going to be that great and you're not going to have that much of control. Um, the most standard choice or the most popular choice recommended by most guys is Comfy UI. Now, Comfy UI is also pretty good, but I don't recommend it for beginners, and this is why. Comfy UI, although it is the epitome of like it's like the best industry standard tool for AI image generation and like generative AI in general, we want to consider that our main goal is not to become a AI creation expert, but rather be good at selling AI models. So our focus should be oriented towards marketing. Now, this doesn't mean I'm saying that you should ignore all of the Comfy UI tutorials that are out there. No. Do feel free to go ahead and review them and study them. But make sure that you're doing this alongside your marketing. So it's not that you take these in stages. It's not that you have to perfect model research before you can even start a marketing. You need to actually, so to say, get the model going and then study Comfy on the side as you're marketing it, and then slowly improve your content as time goes on. So the overall best choice that I feel is WaveSpeed, because it is a site that is NSFW friendly, as well as it can generate images and videos, and it hosts the models itself. So the models that you would use in ComfyUI are used in WaveSpeed. For example, WAN 2.2, Kling, 11 Labs, almost any AI model is hosted there, and the prices are pretty decent. And you even get $1 free as of the time I'm recording this video. So it's a good thing to try out. This will be your fastest bet, because once you learn about these models, you can just straight away go and actually start generating pictures or generating videos or generating audios, whatever. So now there are like two categories of content that you will generate. That is either your images or your videos. Now, when it comes to picture generation, there is a couple of things that I'd recommend. And if you want like an in-depth guide on content generation, you can join our Discord server. The link is in the description. But over there are generally these models that I recommend as of the time I'm making this video. Maybe in the future I might change my opinion on what's best, but so far this is it. The first is Seedream before edit, and now you may be wondering that, hey, that's an image editing AI, not really a text to image pure generation. But you can generate quite unique and amazing pics with Seedream and Nano Banana, which is why I gave them both the green mark. Um, Basically, the whole concept is that you add a couple of images of your reference, and then you add a picture that you want your picture to look like, and then you use a prompt similar to like use this use the first four pictures as reference for the body and the clothes, sorry, body and the face, and use the last image as reference for the body, sorry, the clothes, the background, and the pose. Yeah. So you're going to they both kind of work the similar way. You give them references and then you give them a style picture and then you sort of generate. And it gets pretty good results. Now, WAN 2.2 and Z Image, which was released just now, also are amazing choices. Now, which one should you choose? Well, it depends. If you're just getting started, I'd suggest experimenting with Z-Dream V4 Edit or Nano Banana Pro, because these two are the easiest to get started with because you already have reference pictures out there or it's easy to generate, and you don't need any LoRa training process or anything of that sort, any data set preparation and all that. But for WAN 2.2, Z Image, or even Flux, or anything of that sort, SDXL, if you're going that back, um, you will need to have proper data sets, proper captioning. You will need to rent a GPU to train the LoRa, and you will most likely need comfy UI over here to actually run with your LoRa. So now, the Reels and video creation part, there are a lot of options again. So we have WAN 2.2 and WAN 2.5. They both are amazing. We can play around. WAN Animate is good for your TikTok dances. You can put in a model on the top and model uh, the reference video on the bottom and animate them, and it's pretty realistic. Cling is pretty good for your SFW. It gives highly realistic movement. And of course, face swapping is another thing you can do if you have a hybrid model. So that basically means you have a real model and you're making AI content to aid towards the marketing. Now, what in real or like real and sorry, really and video creation, you will always want to use a combination of these tools. So a lot of people think that, hey, I'm just going to use WAN 2.2. I'm going to do an image to video gen, and I'm going to add some text on top and post it. That works, yes. But you have to realize that's also what everyone is doing right now. So you'll want to be creative with it. Sometimes you may want to take reference from real OF models and see what reels they are posting. And to recreate those reels, you might need a multitude of tools. So you might need WAN 2.2 to generate a video, then maybe a section where she's dancing, so you need WAN Animate. Then you need a Cling maybe for the talking sections or something of those sorts. So they are all sometimes used in collaboration. So it's a good thing to keep that in mind and not just restrict yourself to one software. Now, one overall thing that we have to cover with content generation is the post production section. Now, the actual post production workflow I've given in my Discord, and we cover a lot more details over there with regards to this, but it is highly important. It is what differentiates your picture quality from your competition, because most of the competition don't do this and they don't even talk about this. So the actual post production part, usually you can do it in Lightroom or Photoshop if you have those softwares and if you know how to use them. But if you're a beginner, just start with PixArt. Even Prequel is good. So these are a couple of apps on software that you can use to do post production. And generally, your post production pipeline is sort of that you add noise, you add filters and things like this to make your image blend in, adding blur. So it's basically adding these imperfections so that your model doesn't look unreal. Now, overall, you will want to prepare a content bank of sorts. Like you will want to prepare a couple of reels, couple of pics, and couple of pics for the place you're going to be selling on. So either it's FanView or Telegram directly. So we will get into that, but you will want to build a content bank just so you can get things started pretty easy. Now, in terms of marketing, this is a whole topic on its own, and of course, uh, there is a lot of avenues, but the biggest agencies that I know, and especially the agency that I run, tend to focus on very few social medias because the algorithm changes all the time, the security changes all the time. There are different trends going on different platforms at different times, and to keep up with everything, especially as a solo creator, and us as a multi-team company, as an multi-employee agency, also find it really difficult to keep up. But doing this on your own is pretty hard. So you want to pick one or two at max social medias and get started with those. And the two that I recommend are Instagram and Threads. I have in-depth videos of these. They are You will find them in my channel, and I have written guides that detail specific methods in my Discord, which you can refer to. But I will cover the general processes over here. So with Instagram, there are two sort of posts or two sort of content that you can post. Those are your pics and those are your reels. Now, some people tend to get better reach from carousel posts. Some people get better reach from reels. Some people get better reach from static reels, and so on and so forth. But in general, you should have a plan for what your content is going to be like. So, for example, I've given the top three sort of content, the types of categories of content that we post at our agency, and we have noticed getting a lot of success recently. And the first is your safe for work controversial stuff, like posting about Trump, MAGA reels, or something political that actually gains traction. Um, NSFW flash reels, these are pretty high risk. It's basically where you show nudity and things like that in the reel itself. But just note that these get your account banned very fast. So it's more of a suicide method where you have multiple accounts and they all sort of post the similar type of content, right? And then you have the niched content. That's basically the goth girl type of niche and the golf and the shooting type of niche. So this kind of blends in with our market research part, but it's important to know what you're going to actually post, because that makes your whole, as you can see, I've connected them, that makes your whole content research easy, and that makes your whole real video creation easy. So they all sort of like tie in the real video creation and the picture generation, content research, and the types of content that you want to post. Now, as for the actual marketing techniques, we obviously have black hat methods and we have white hat methods, which I've separated over here. With the black hat methods, we have mother child or mother slave, and it's basically having many child accounts, child Instagram accounts, and you use those child Instagram accounts on a very aggressive way. Couple of them are like follow and follow and things of that sort. And we the actual way of doing this is either you use real devices. I made a mistake here. Either you use real devices, so you can either use jailbroken iPhones with Crane, which is an application that you can install on jailbroken iPhones, which allow you to create multiple profiles, or Nomics Cloner. They have a Telegram bot which allows you to um, duplicate these apps for pretty cheap. So, and for Android, you have App Cloner and you also have Nomics Cloner there. So these are pretty good options. You may want to mix in. You want to have to also consider your proxies and everything of that sort. I have posted a whole guide for absolutely free in our Discord, and over there, I provide you with the suppliers I use for my cloud phones and how to jailbreak and everything you need to know in terms of the actual detail. But it's all over there. And with the next sort of black hat method, you have mass DMs. For this, you really have two options. Either it's pretty simple, you either do it yourself or you have a supplier. Now, if you are doing it yourself, you will probably want to use IAM, which is a Russian software. It's a Instagram account manager, and you will have to know how to exactly use it, where to get the accounts, what proxies to use, how to warm the accounts up, how many DMs to send to per account, how to get the lists you're going to actually use to DM people. So it gets technical, or you can find a supplier that provides this, but be very careful of scams and always use a middleman so that you don't get scammed. But you can also message me and I can help you find a good supplier for the mass DMs, which I have used. And then next, the mass DMs can also be outsourced to a VA, but that tends to be a lesser used option. Now, there is a secondary method, and that's mass likes. That kinda comes under mother slave, but it involves, instead of follow and follow as the main strategy, you liking the comments and liking the stories of the people that comment on, like, on your competition posts, right? So you will want to do this on slave accounts so that the restriction rate is very low when you do this, which is why I kept it in a separate section, but it still comes under the whole mother slave technique. Now, as a beginner, getting into black hat is pretty difficult, and I wouldn't say difficult, but without the right guidance, it can be slow and it's pretty daunting to set up everything. So, which is why I also included this organic section of our um, course over here. And that's pretty much covering the standard stuff. So, you'll want to have consistent reel posting, that is SFS, and you can combine that with shout out for shoutouts, either with theme pages or creator collaborations. Now, consistent reel posting is really, really important because it builds your trust with Instagram. Now, building trust with Instagram is something that takes time, and it is something that you need to be patient with. Patience is quite key over here because this is not really a side hustle but a proper business of its own. So, you will want to generally post around 3 to 4 times a day. That is the standard recommended amount. After you get to a certain following, you can SFRS or shout out for shout out with another creator or another page. If you want to network with creators, we have a collaboration channel as well. And over there, you can find creators within your following niche to actually collaborate with them. So then you will want to research what trends are going on that platform. For example, recently there was the whole 6-7 meme. So you'll want to try to integrate that with your model. There may be popular memes that are flowing around that you will want to recreate, things of that sort. Another can be semi black hat, but like mostly organic method is using external social media. So, for example, if you redirect Discord traffic to Instagram or Threads traffic to Instagram, things of this sort. And the last point I can mention for organic is getting yourself out there. So have multiple avenues. Even if you're not actively marketing on all of them, try to have like a Reddit and Discord and Instagram, because in general, doing organic is a slow process. So you might as well, you'll have more time to work on each platform. And now we also come to the second recommendation, which is threads. And all of these principles sort of apply with threads, and in terms of the research and market content and all that. But you also have the option to post static posts, which are basically only images, and you have video posts, which pretty self-explanatory, it's videos, and you also have your caption posts, those are only texts. And the same sort of procedure goes here. You do your model, you do your competition research, content research, you see which captions have gotten good views for others, and you sort of repost them or change it a bit using ChatGPT. So this is sort of the same in terms of research, and there are ways to automate it as well. But in general, if it's your first time starting out, you can already use these two to reach to your 5K, 10K a month mark. Now, coming in with the last stage of the entire course, so to say, is the chatting section. And this is where the real money is made, because most of the people think that it's mostly from subscriptions. But although that is true in some cases, but chatting is always going to be the money maker. It's kind of like this: if you never chat, you will need, let's say, if you're charging $1 a month to reach $1,000, you would need 1,000 fans to reach $1,000 a month. But if you're doing chatting, you may only need like 10 or 5. So that shows how much important your chatting is. So with chatting, it's important to realize the actual psychology of why people even buy content, because you can find literally everything with a search of 4 letters on Google. So why do people actually spend money? And the answer to that is building a relationship. Building a relationship with the model itself, or a girl they can stay in touch with, something that is personalized. So you will want to keep this in your mind while you're making your chatting scripts. And a good sort of principles to base yourself on is provide value for value. If you promised something, make sure you follow through with it. Build a long-term relationship. You're not here to extract all of the money at once. You're here to build a relationship with the client so that you can extract the most amount of money per sub. The sale value. What I mean by this is the price of your PPVs or exclusive content are going to increase every message. So maybe you send an SFW first for free, and then you give one for 5, and then one for 30, one for 100, so on and so forth. It's sort of the sale value increases. And fourth sort of ties in with value for value, and that is actually having honesty. So if you promise you're going to do something, follow through with it, because these are clients that's going to stick with you for months. So you will want to follow through with the commitments you make. And if you have a real model, make sure she's comfortable doing any custom requests before proceeding to take money from her for it. So that kind of covers everything you need to get started with AI OFM, and in general um, OFM also. And if I were to lay this out, you could get started within this week. And how that would play out is, after watching this, you tomorrow start out with your model research. Then you spend the next day learning about how to actually use wave speed. It's not complicated. My last video was on using Z image turbo using wave speed. So you're going to make your content, general content, and then you're going to create your social medias, because of course all social medias need an average of 3 to 4 days of warm up. And then you're going to write your chatting scripts, and then you're going to make your content bank, so your reels and your pics and captions or whatnot. And on the last day you're going to make your first post. So the by the time you're doing all of the chatting scripts, content generation, caption writing, you'll reach time when these both are warmed up and you can actually start making your first post. And the overall plan is to sell either on Telegram or FanView. If you're selling on Telegram, this is not very known, but you can use Telegram stars or even PayPal if you have a business PayPal that you own, or else dealing with chargebacks is something that you will generally want to avoid. Or even OF, as you can see here, we have gotten pretty good numbers with that. So the chatting, as I said, it can be done by VAs, or it can be done um, by your Cupid AI and chatting AIs of that sort. So that is sort of your whole game plan. You're going to use FanView or Telegram or even OnlyFans if you have a real model to promote and to sell. You're going to use IG and Threads for the marketing. You're going to use WaveSpeed or Comfy UI for your model generation. And this is pretty much all that you need. And you pick one strategy between these two and you sort of play along with it. And be consistent. That's the most important thing that I can mention. And I think that's it for this video. And if you have any questions, you can hit me up on Discord, or feel free to message in the server. There are a lot of people that are willing to help. And I hope that you found this all informational. And I'll see you guys in the next video. So take care.